Financial advice is never just about the client. It's also about the advisor. We now have this growing body of research, both in behavioral finance and psychology, showing that advisors routinely bring their histories, assumptions, and money narratives into the advice process. And because these influences are usually unconscious, they shape recommendations in ways that neither the advisor nor the client recognizes. So let me ground this in a few findings. Across multiple studies, advisors consistently misread their client behavior, assume their clients share similar past experiences, particularly around debt saving and financial stability. They are adjusting recommendations based on their own personal history and not clients' evidence. They often struggle to separate their private money narratives from their professional judgment. Now, I need to make a couple things clear. These findings, they're not because advisors lack skill or care. It's because they're human. Money is emotional. Identity is emotional. And no one is trained to bracket those influences the way that psychotherapists or medical professionals do. One's early experiences shape how people understand money. Was there enough? Was it predictable? Was it chaotic? Was it money a source of conflict or safety? These experiences don't disappear when somebody becomes a licensed professional. They travel with them through every single client conversation they have. And what we often find is that advisors who grew up in scarcity tend to be risk adverse, even when their clients are positioned for more growth. Advisors who experienced instability often become control oriented. They prefer certainty, structure, and safe choices, sometimes projecting that onto their clients who don't actually need it. Advisors raised in affluence may misread client stress because they've never personally experienced the fear of not having enough. And advisors with fear of illness, job loss, or economic collapse, they may become overprotective or overly conservative in their recommendations. Now, why does this matter? Well, these advisor patterns directly influence a bunch of things. The first one, the KYC. We know the KYC is meant to uncover things about the client's life, but advisors' own narratives often fill the blanks. What about product selection? If an advisor equates good advice with protecting people from loss, the portfolio often mirrors the fears rather than the client's goals. What about how advisors talk to their clients? Some advisors respond to stress by becoming more technical. Others become more directive. Others withdraw. These behavior patterns come from their history, not from a deliberate professional choice. Let's talk about emotional regulation during times of high stress. This is a major theme. When a client is panicking, the advisor's nervous system will be reacting too. So advisors with unresolved money anxiety tend to either over-reassure or overcorrect, and both responses distort the advice. How they interpret client goals. While a client says, I want to retire more comfortably, how the advisor interprets that is often different than how the client interprets that. What about ethical judgment? When advisors can't recognize how their personal experiences shape their professional decisions, their duty of care becomes vulnerable to bias, despite their best intentions. Improving financial advice in Canada requires more than technical training or regulatory updates. It requires self-awareness. It requires methodologies that reveal an advisor's internal landscape, not just the client's. Because at the end of the day, financial advice is deeply human work. If we want better outcomes for our clients, we must first understand the people giving the advice. That is the heart of my research and the future of advisor education in Canada.